Hello, welcome to the Oprah Winfrey Show! Today our topic is meteorology, and we'll have two special guests today to discuss our atmosphere and components of energy absorption. But first, I'd like to talk to you about something very serious, global warming. First, we have these walruses up here dying because global warming is creating a drop in sea ice and is killing their home. Here we have a scientist predicting on how we're going to be affected by global warming. They say diseases such as malaria and dengue fever may sprout up more frequently. Finally, we have ice sheets disappearing on the coast of Greenland right here, causing the sea level to rising and eventually losing our coasts. Now, on a lighter note, please welcome our first guest. She's wildly popular around here, and she's agreed to meet with us today. Please welcome Liz Ebersol!
Thank you for having me on the show today, Oprah. But you are absolutely right. Global warming is a serious matter, and if we do not do something about it, many Arctic animals will lose their homes.
So true, and so inspirational! But the real reason you're on today is to talk about our atmosphere, because, like me, many people don't know what the deal is, and I've lived under it my entire life.
Yes, Oprah, many people, in fact, don't even know the layers of the atmosphere, let alone what they do. Let's start off with the troposphere, which is where we live.
Ah, yes, I like this. The troposphere.
And now that we get higher in the troposphere, the temperature decreases until we hit the tropopause. But the troposphere is very important because, believe it or not, that's where half of the atmosphere's air is located. The next layer is the stratosphere, and this is where most of the atmosphere's ozone is, so the temperature increases as they get higher until the stratosphere.
Now, Liz, do you think you can explain a little more about what the ozone is?
Sure, Oprah. Ozone is a gas that absorbs most of the sun's harmful UV rays, but some of them still are able to get through, which causes us to get sunburned.
Wow, it sounds like the ozone's really important.
Yes, it is. The next layer of the atmosphere is the mesosphere, and here temperatures decrease with the higher altitude until the mesopause. Finally, we have the thermosphere, where temperatures increase, but there is no definite end. For Oprah, our atmosphere is more important to our way of life. It protects us from the sun's harmful rays, acts as insulation for heat, and always keeps us comfortable.
Well, aren't you just chock full of information? We'll be right back.
Introducing this new chemical called detainer. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Oprah Show! Weren't those commercials great? We're back with Liz Ebersol, discussing the Earth's atmosphere. So Liz, we've discussed the layers of the atmosphere, but I still don't know what it's made out of.
Well, Oprah, it's actually not real complicated. It's mainly made out of gases, oxygen and nitrogen, which is what is found in most dry air. But there's also a small percentage of argon and carbon dioxide, which is the main factor in temperature change in the atmosphere.
Well, butter me up and call me toast. I never would have known that. Liz, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
Woo! Yeah.
Our next guest has been all over the world to talk about Earth, energy, and changing seasons. Please welcome Elvia Guzman!
Thanks for having me today, Oprah.
My pleasure. Now, tell us what happens to all this energy that the Earth receives each day.
Well, a few things can happen. It could be absorbed, reflected, or it could scatter. When it's absorbed, it warms the surface and warms the land on it through conduction. When it's reflected and scattered, it usually rises, cools, and drops through convection.
I gotta ask you, Elvia, what are these words like conduction and convection you're using?
Well, Oprah, conduction is the transfer of energy through direct contact. Convection is energy transferred through a current, and radiation is another one that it passes right through the vacuum of space. That's how the sun's energy gets to us.
Now, if what you say is true, why do some places have a colder climate than others?
There are a few factors to that. One reason could be that if you're along a coastline, your temperature will be cooler in the day but not as cold as night. This is because water heats up slowly but cools down slowly too. Geographic position is one as well. If you're on a coast, the wind is going to cause a lower temperature than a desert, for example. Finally, altitude has a role in it all. If you're on top of a mountain, it'll obviously be colder because of the drop of temperature that Liz explained than if you're at the bottom of the mountain. Most of it has to do with your latitudinal direction.
Well, Elvia, thanks for coming on the show today. That's all the time we have. Tune in next time when we talk about catastrophic events.
Woo!